thinking sometimes, why is it? How did he do all this? How did it work? Now, Hasidim don't ask such questions. I mean, they don't even think why they don't ask such questions. But we Jews, that we come from other places, so we start asking. After you read another story, you start asking, how did he really do it? And I think the answer is Emunah. And it's important for us. And another question, what can we get out of all these stories, all these motions that he did? Could we get something out of it? Could we learn something from it? We would think that not. What could you? We can't imitate. We can't do these things. I would say that Emunah we can learn from it. We see from all this that there were tzaddikim, that they saw Hashem in everything in the world. And I always like to say over the Baal HaTanya that says in the Likutei Torah, on the pasuk in Shir Hashem, Einayich Yonim, your eyes are like Hashem is praising Kol Yisrael, and he's saying, your eyes are like pigeons. And the Baal HaTanya explains, two pigeons, a zug, a couple, they stand facing one another, looking one another in the eye. Einayich Yonim, Klal Yisrael and Hashem are looking one another in the eye. The Klal Yisrael, no matter where they go, what they do, they always sing Hashem. People go to work, they're doing business, they see Hashem. Hashem is running the business. Hashem is moving things around. I'm not doing anything. I'm just a gazan b'yad ha'chotziv. I'm just a hatchet in the hand of the one that the wood chopper. I'm just fulfilling the ratzon of Hashem of doing things in His world. That through me, there can be a yishuv, and that makes parnasa, and we can support our children to learn Torah, support our houses, be able to learn Torah ourselves. All that's a nice yearning. They see Hashem in everything that they're looking at. Tzaddikim, even in the higher madriga, they don't see Gashmias at all. They see Ratzon Hashem in everything that's happening. With such strong emunah, with looking at the world like that, that has color, that has power, that can change the teva. It's like electricity. If you're plugged in, if the light is plugged in, it can turn on. It can do amazing things. It can light up a whole room. It can make a tape recorder work. It can make a computer work. If it's not plugged in, nothing will happen. The mind of a person is the place where the neshama rests. It says in pasuk, Al Chocham Einav Berosho. Baal HaTanya brings the Zohar that says Einav is eyes, and the Berosho is the Shechina that's above his head. The Shechina is above a person's head. The main place where the Ashras HaShechina is inside the brain of a person. Einav Berosho, he looks at the Shechina that's resting on top of his head. But we become like Gushan. We from so much using our minds to think about Olam Hazeh. So we lower ourselves into Olam Hazeh, and we're not enough connected to the ruchnis that there is in the world. Our brain is not enough connected to Hashem. But it is possible for all of us, every one of us, to connect our brain to Hashem, to use your brain to think about Hashem, to believe that He's all over, to believe that He's giving to you. He's standing right next to you, and He's giving you seichel to understand. He's standing right next to you and giving you food. That's what benching is all about. And by thinking these thoughts, we can also, I wouldn't say do motion, but we could also see tremendous Hashgacha Pratis and tremendous Siyata Dishmaya in everything we do. I want to tell the story that I was the most impressed from is that by Rabbi Yeshaya, there used to come people that were hiding from the drift, the Hungarian army that were trying to drift Jewish boys, and when they were running away and hiding themselves, they came to his city, to Karastir. And the police, and he took in many, many people. Of course, he didn't have a place in his house, everybody, so they slept in the yard, in the backyard. Outside, there was such a thing as a backyard, a front yard. I don't know what there was there. They slept over in this city. In his city, they were under his shmira. So the police used to come and look. You have people here. They always used to bribe the police, and that was it. One time, they were malshim, that they went and they told the police, the headquarters of the police in the big city, someplace that there's somebody that's hiding many, many Jews over there in a small city called Karastir. And then the small police take bribes and they overlook it. So the police, the headquarters said, okay, we're sending them, we're going to check it out. They sent some of the big generals and the police force, and they went to Karastir. When they were getting close to the city, so the people found out that it's happening, that they're coming. They went into Rabbi Yeshaya and they told him the higher police are coming to check over here. So he said, okay, very good, everything will be all right, don't worry. Everybody, all those that are hiding themselves from the drift should go into the base medrash and open up Gemaras and put your head into the Gemara. That means look in the Gemara and that's it, and don't do anything. 300 people went into the base medrash and put their heads in the Gemara. The police came to Rabbi Yeshaya's house, knocked on there. They said, yeah, Rabbi, we hear that you're hiding people from the drift. He said, well, I'm hiding people. I don't know what you're talking about. Well, we want to search. They searched his whole house. They didn't find anything. So they said, okay, we're going to the shul. You'll take us there. Say, yeah, of course I'll take you there. He takes them to the shul where 300 people are sitting with open Gemaras, hiding from the drift. He takes the police into the shul. And the police start walking up the aisle, down the aisle, up the next aisle, down the next aisle, back and forth. They say, Rabbi, we don't see anything. There's nobody here. Yeah, you were right. We're impressed. There's nobody here. You're not hiding about it. No, they went. Goodbye. That's the... Just imagine 300 people are sitting there. The police come and they don't see anything. And I would say that the pshat is because by tzaddikim, the emunah was so strong. All there was Hashem's presence was over there. And because he was like that, so he was able to shine in this whole surrounding that ain't no rather, there's nothing else but him. And even these glacier police didn't see anything. They weren't able to see. That's the Koch of a Tzaddik. I saw last week, I was standing in a certain place waiting in line by Tzvi Meir to Zuberberg to say good Shabbos. While I was waiting in line, I saw on the table there a Sefer Pardes Yosef HaChodosh. The Sefer Pardes Yosef is a likud of things on Chumash that are in Sfarim that don't go directly on the Parsha. So he put it together and said in style, and he only did Bereishis Shmos Vayikra. So somebody continued by Midbar Dvarim, and he did it in the same style as the Pardes Yosef. So I saw this Sefer on the table. I opened it up and I looked, and last week's Parsha, so he brings, it says, Kulam by the Meraglim, Kulam Anoshim. So Rashi says, Anoshim Chashuvim. Those are short Ksherim are you. There were still Ksherim in that time when they went. The kasha is, how can you say, those are short Ksherim are you? But there's another Rashi that says, Vayelchu Vayavoru, the Pasuk says by the Meraglim. They went and they came. The Rashi meaning the Chazal, just like in the Vayavo, when they came back, they came Beitzoro. So the Vayelchu was also Beitzoro. So even when they went, they had in mind to do bad. So how can you say Rosh Hashanah? So this Joseph Chodosh, so he brings a text from a Rav Shmuel Bosner, the Rav that was nifty not long ago. So he said, the Pshat in Rashi, Rosh Hashanah, how bad did they had bad in their minds, like Chazal said, but they were still close to the Tzaddik. Well, they were still near Moshe Rabbeinu. Being close to Moshe Rabbeinu is also so exciting. There is a certain koach of being close to that tzaddik. And the Indian, I would say, is that because the tzaddik is so dovek to Hashem, his amun is so strong, that it's mashpia on all those that are around him. All those that are around him, they feel a certain presence of Hashem over here. And this tzaddik, Rabbi Yeshaya, it wasn't just by being there and people looking at him like in other places. It was by Mamish giving food, lowering himself to Mamish Gashmir, to the goof, to feeding the goof of people. And with that, he brought in Amunah and holiness into people. And that reminds me of one of the stories in this book. There was a family. It seemed that in Hungary there were some families that were so secular, they didn't have any shaykhs to Yiddishkeit. In the big cities, more it sounds like. So there was a family from Budapest that they ate crayfish and no shaykhs to Yiddishkeit. One of their sons, one day, something happened. He was traveling or something, and he happened to stop by in the city Karastir and go into Rabbi Yeshaya and eat a meal by him. That's what everybody, whoever traveled by, ate a meal by him. Afterwards, he went home. All of a sudden, something happened to him. He couldn't eat anymore. He couldn't eat the food in his friend's house. Only fruits and vegetables. That's all. That's all he could eat. Nothing else. He didn't know what it is. He didn't know himself what it is. And he just couldn't eat anything besides fruits and vegetables. One day, they decided that since this happened, after visiting Rabbi Yeshaya and eating them, they'll go to, or somebody influenced them, they see, I don't remember exactly. Went back to him and he said, Rabbi, this guy's son over here, he doesn't eat anything. He doesn't eat anything besides fruits and vegetables. So Rabbi Yeshaya said, what do you mean he doesn't eat anything? Let's sit him down and give him a meal. Give him a meal, I imagine that meat and chicken and everything, the best food. And he ate like everybody else. So Rabbi Yeshaya said to him, what are you talking about he doesn't eat? Look how he eats. Of course he doesn't eat. He doesn't eat places like your house. He doesn't eat. How did that happen? How did this person know? How did this boy know not to eat crayfish? He didn't know from nothing. Only what? Because this tzaddik, his avodas Hashem was feeding Jews, giving food to him. And the kedusha of this tzaddik went into his food so strongly that just by eating one meal by Rabbi Yeshaya, that changed the person. His body became holy Not from hearing a talk, and
Rabbi
not
Kaplan,
from being
Rabbi
told
Kaplan.
that there was a
All right.
God.